Steve Gamache here with this Chef Knives to Go quick look product video, and this is a redo because I had the previous one misspelled. So this is the Takamura Migaki. I said Mikage on the other one, pardon me. R2 steel, Gyuto 210mm. So this line of knives has a core steel of what's known as R2 powdered metallurgy stainless steel with a heat treat rating of 62 to 63 Rockwell. And this steel is known for wear resistance and very high edge retention and edge taking capability. The construction is a stainless steel cladding. It's a rather shiny knife and is polished pretty heavily, but if I can catch the edge here, there's the core steel, if you can kind of catch that. So it's a stainless cladding over the top of that stainless core steel. And this has some lightly stamped kanji on that side. And then you've got some stamped kanji on this side as well. And you can see a little bit of the curve to the blade there. The weight on this knife is light, especially for a Yo or Western handle. It's 5.2 ounces, 147 grams. And the blade length is 213, slightly over 210. And the overall length, 13.4. This is a very thin knife. So even way back up here by the spine, it's only 1.5 millimeters approximately. And of course, it's not going to thin out a lot from that, but it thins out even a little bit more towards the tip, tapers down nicely with the grind of the knife. So this baby is thin. The blade height back here at the chin heel area is 44.85, so almost 45 millimeters. And the handle is a rosewood wooden scaled handle. Real nice looking handle. The fit and finish is very, very good on this knife. I don't feel much of anything on the rivets, on the tang coming around the handle. The bolster, I think, is a pinned-on style. It's not a full-on, like the Hap 40 Gyuto has a nice welded kind of smooth flow into the tang or into the bolster. This one does not, but it's very comfortable nonetheless. The fit and finish is very good on the knife. The spine at the, I already talked about that. Let's see, circumference. The handle on this, and I'm not going to redo the comparison video, but I've got a comparison video between this and the Kohetsu Hap 40 to show the difference. But the handle on this is actually fairly slender. It's got rounded features to it versus the more blocky Kohetsu handle. And it's, in hand, it's actually thin. It works really well. If you've got really big hands, this handle might be a little thin for you. One thing nice about that is the handle and the neck not being so wide is that, in effect, you get more clearance here to the bottom of the blade cutting board area for your fingers. So even though it's not a super tall blade, it, in effect, acts like a higher blade on the cutting board because of this less large diameter handle at this point. So trade-offs either way, but the handle does have a very nice feel to it. It's actually a partial tang, as you can kind of see here. Doesn't go all the way through, which helps on the lightness of the knife as well. So the tang is on the top part, not on the bottom part. And balance point on the knife is just slightly in front of that bolster, pretty close to a pinch grip, about right there. And let's see, profile on the blade. It's more of a kind of a continuous curve with a little bit of a flat spot at the heel. And this knife is really thin. It is ridiculous how easily this thing goes through stuff like onions. It's just unbelievable. I'll probably do a video of it, but I can hold an onion, even a pretty big one, with one finger. I can't quite do it with no fingers, but I can hold it with one finger with very little pressure and do those horizontal slices on a dice, and that thing doesn't even move. So this thing just flows through product. The drawback of that is being such a thin blade, there's not much margin for convexing, and so you do get a little bit of stick on the product. It's just the characteristic of the style knife it is. There's not a lot that can be done about that. So you got a little bit of trade-off there, but this thing is thin, it's light, it's very nimble, fairly stiff for the thinness of the blade, and boy does it go through product. And the out-of-the-box edge on this is absolutely outstanding. It is ready to go right out of the box. I'll give it a good 7 out of 10, maybe even an 8. It is very sharp. It's got some tooth to the edge, and I have not touched this out of the box, and it has, I haven't used it a ton yet, but so far it's exhibiting extremely good edge retention as well. Let's see, we talked about the balance point. New feature I'm going to bring in that I've been doing the latest batch is this cutting board effect. So here's what the knife looks like on the cutting board. As you can see, there's not a lot of super flat area to the knife profile. You do have a little bit of flat area in the back. It doesn't slam into the board. It's got kind of a gentle curve into the back part. And you've got a fair amount of belly to the front for rocking. So I really do like this profile a lot myself. If you want a super duper flat knife with a ton of flat area at the heel, this may not be your knife, but I think it's a pretty good general all-around profile. So this is an outstanding knife line that Mark has brought in, and this is a serious high-performance Gyuto. It's light, it's nimble, it's got great steel, it's super sharp out of the box, it blows through product unbelievably well, and it's just a really just a pleasure to use this Gyuto. So top flight knife that Mark has brought in on this line. So there we have the Takamura Migaki R2 steel Gyuto 210mm knife.